Yo, what's good? My name's Kang, and today we're gonna budget together. This is a reoccurring monthly series where I break down every single dollar I spend, save, and invest each month. First, let's talk about pay. I get paid twice a month, and with my 401k deductions and my ESPP, the total amount that ends up hitting my bank account is around $1,700 each paycheck. My company also switched from like regular vacation, which was like 3 weeks and it had to accrue over time, to unlimited PTO. So on top of my monthly income of around $3,400, I also got $2,100 worth of vacation balance paid out into my bank account. And just a quick note on this idea of unlimited PTO. I think a lot of companies, and I guess more so their managers, limit the unlimited PTO that you can get, which means people end up taking less PTO than if they had those regular vacation days that I had before. With that in mind, my team and my manager are actually really understanding about PTO and are actually encouraging us to take PTO and recharge when we need it. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this whole entire unlimited PTO switch situation. I end up getting more vacation right away. I don't have to wait for it. And on top of that, I get a nice little bonus, which honestly didn't last too long in my bank account. Really quickly, we'll talk about investments since I already have the page open, and a lot of my investments actually happen through my employer. So first we have the 401k, which I invest $1,800 each paycheck, and my employer matches $900 of that. And next we have the ESPP, which I contribute $800 each paycheck. So if we total everything up, this month I invested $5,500 into my 401k with the help of my employer. I invested $1,600 into my ESPP and another $800 split 50-50 between Bitcoin and Ethereum, bringing my investment total this month to $7,900. Alright, with all that boring stuff out of the way, let's talk about something fun, which is spending, because I spent bare this month. Alright, before we get started, some quick notes. This month I added the Chase Sapphire Preferred to my roster. Chase had an offer where if you sign up in branch, they increased the bonus points from 60,000 to 90,000 points, so I ended up taking advantage of that. And I'll talk a little bit more about the Chase card later in the video. This month my girlfriend also came to visit me, which explains why I'm very close to hitting my Chase sign-on bonus, if you get what I mean. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's begin looking at the actual budget. So first we have auto and transport, $0, that's boring. Next we have internet, $20, that's the same. Alcohol and bars, I spent $0 this month. And honestly, I've noticed through the past couple months, I haven't really been spending a lot of money on alcohol or a lot of time drinking, honestly. And as I've gotten older, I've realized like I don't really care that much about drinking anymore. But at the same time, I could just be saying that because it's cold the past couple of months. And now that summer's coming, I know that in the next couple of months I'm going to be spending a lot more time and money on alcohol. So let's just say that March was a reset and getting my body ready for the torture that I'm about to put it through in the next couple of months. Next, we have fast food, which was $80 this month, which is $32 over budget. This is kind of low considering that I paid for myself and my girlfriend, so I kind of expected it to double, but I guess we didn't eat out at fast food places as much as I thought I would. Next, we have groceries at $500, which is $200 over budget. And since my girlfriend was visiting, I'm not gonna subject her to like my chicken and rice, so we're eating a bunch of different meals and having more variety in what we eat. So with her, we bought a lot of different foods and lots of snacks, to be honest. And $500 between two people, I mean, I think that's a bit on the high side, but not too bad if you ask me. Next, we have restaurants for $348. And even though I'm over, I will say I ate very good this month. Now, my girlfriend has visited Seattle before, but I wanted to show her all the places that I found over the past couple months where she hasn't been here. But we just so happened to do it in 3 weeks instead of the span of like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. Next, we have gift donations, $0. Health and fitness, $0. This month, we spent $1,200 on rent. And then next, we have personal care, which is hair. As you can see, my hair is very long right now. I'm looking quite disheveled, to be honest, but I promise there's a reason for that. I have a wedding to go to in June and I want to get it permed for the wedding. At the same time, I'm also going home a little bit earlier in May, so I have to get the perm as close as I can to before I leave in May so that it'll look good for the wedding, if you know what I mean. So I have it all planned out. There's a reason that my hair is this long. I wouldn't just, leave my hair this long and not get it cut to save some money. Next, we have laundry, which is like 20 bucks. This is the first time I've washed my sheets in like months, and it's only because my girlfriend was visiting, so I expect this to go down next month. Next, we have shopping, which is $375. From this point on, this is where things start to get bad. I mean, if you're looking at the screen, you can kind of see what I'm alluding to. This month, I spent $144 at the Lululemon outlet. I do love me some Lululemon, and the more pieces that I acquire, I get closer and closer to having a closet full of Lululemon. And then after that point is when I transcend all tech bros and I reach tech bro nirvana. But anyways, they had a pretty good sale going on at the outlet. So I copped 2 shorts for like 30 bucks and then some shirts for like, I think 35 each. Next, I spent $160 on sweats, even though we're entering summer. So this hoodie that I'm wearing right now is actually from this company and it was really comfortable. So I was like, oh, maybe I should get some more. But I bought it right before we're entering summer, which doesn't make any sense because I'm not going to be able to wear it. And I also bought one for my girlfriend because she thought it was very comfortable too. To round out the clothes, I also bought a wife pleaser from Uniqlo because it's 2023. It's not wife beater anymore, it's wife pleaser. for 10 bucks. And to round it off, I got some plugins for Final Cut Pro that I've been playing around with and a new screen protector because I almost destroyed my phone. And that rounds out all the shopping. To be honest, did I need the sweaters and the Lulu stuff? No. But you know, spending that little bit of money gives me that little extra serotonin boost that I need to get through the week. So, but before we move on to travel, which I guess spoiler, you can already see how much it is, I want to talk a little bit about the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Chase currently has a promo in branch and online where if you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months of the card, you get an 80K sign-on bonus. In branch, I think they also have an additional 10K sign-on bonus if you spend $2,000 after that 4K in the first 6 months. So I would check just to make sure that you're getting the best deal that you can. And the Chase Sapphire Preferred is a pretty good card. They give you 5 times points back on any travel you book through their Chase Portal app, 2 times points on any other travel purchases, 3 times points on dining and restaurants and groceries, 3 times points on streaming apps like Netflix and stuff like that, and 1 times points on everything else. This card has a $95 fee and has some other perks like primary and secondary insurance on rental cars, a $50 hotel credit if you book through the Chase Ultimate Rewards portal, no foreign transaction fees, and flight and baggage insurance. There are 5 reasons why I got this card. Number 1, I applied last year and I didn't get it, so I applied again this year to show them who's boss. Number 2, it's a Visa and has no foreign exchange fees. Last year when I went to Europe, all they took was Visa and MasterCard, so it's basically impossible to use my Amex. So having a Visa card where I can accumulate points and not have foreign transaction fees really rounds out my credit card roster. Number 3, it has really good car rental insurance. The Amex card only has secondary insurance, which means you also have to buy primary insurance when you rent cars. And I rent cars decently often, so having this perk pays for itself within the year. Number 4, I get 90K Chase points, which in my opinion is slightly better than Amex just because you can transfer to United, which in my opinion has a pretty good sweet spot when traveling and using points. And number 5, I knew I was going to be spending a lot of money on flights this month, so I'd rather use that money and spend it to unlock a sign-on bonus rather than spend it on a card where I've already unlocked the sign-on bonus, if that makes sense. Which comes full circle and brings me back to my next category, which is travel for $1,946. So this month I booked 5 plane tickets. This first one is a flight from Toronto back to Seattle after my friend's wedding. The one-way flight back was like $600 or like $500, something ridiculous. So I ended up using points and paid 12,500 Aeroplan points or Amex points, they're 1-to-1, and an additional 79 USD, which I think is a pretty good deal considering how expensive the one-way back was. This next flight is $1,250 to Thailand. I'm going to Thailand in October with my girlfriend. It should have been 2, I paid for both of them. But she transferred me back in Canadian, and all the money that's in my Canadian bank account I just used for my student loans. So you'll see a bit later I split it just for student loans. The reason I paid cash for this instead of using my points was I couldn't really find a really good redemption offer for the points. It was like way more expensive than the flight actually was. And on top of that, it was a time that wouldn't really even fit into our schedule. So in this case, it just made sense for us to pay with cash, which just ended up being a little bit more expensive than I'd like. This next one is an Air Canada flight. Little fun fact about me, I'm very, very scared of flying alone. So I graciously told my girlfriend that she has to fly to Seattle and then fly from Seattle to Thailand with me. So that $255 is half of that flight for her to come to Seattle. This next $255 is also Air Canada. This is me going from Seattle to Toronto for the holidays, and that's another $255. This next one for $109 is to Costa Rica for Thanksgiving. So for this flight to Costa Rica, the normal ticket price was $915, which was, to me, seemed really expensive. So in order to pay for the flight, I used 70,000 Amex points plus like $110 USD to pay for that flight round trip. I think if I didn't book Thailand like literally a couple days before I booked the Costa Rica flights, I probably would have paid cash, even though it was kind of expensive. I know it's not the best redemption value for points for this flight, but anything over like $600-700, like money wise, I don't really want to pay cash. I'd rather just pay with points. And even though it's like a little bit not as efficient as in terms of like credit card hacking, I think it's okay. Yeah, I spent a lot of money on flights this month, and to be honest, it's completely worth it. I love traveling, and it's one of those things that I'm really trying to prioritize in my life while I'm still young and my legs still work. And why I mentioned the credit card right before I mentioned the travel is because with all those flights that I booked and like that shopping I did here and there, I basically hit the $4,000 spend in the first 3 months within like the first 30 days of having the card. And one thing I want to note is like sometimes people will see like, oh, you got to spend $4,000 in 3 months in order to hit the minimum spend requirement and get that bonus. And they'll go out and buy a bunch of stuff that they wouldn't normally buy. And I don't think that's the case here. And I think this is the case of strategically planning when you're going to spend your money, when you know when you're going to get a big paycheck and you know that you're going to be spending money on vacations. That's when you want to get your credit card so that you can stack those points and not have to pay next time, right? Because you can use the points to fly. To round it out, let's talk about everything else. This $2 is just to keep my Canadian phone number. My student loans, like I said, my girlfriend transferred me in CAD the equivalent amount, and that's just going to be used to pay my student loans. This month I went to see Air, which is that new movie about signing Michael Jordan to the Nike deal. And honestly, the whole movie was a big Nike ad, but if you ignore that part, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Recommend watching if you haven't. This month I also went to the Skagit Valley Tulip Festival, which is pretty cool to see. Lots of flowers, very nice. And yeah, that's basically all I spent. Another thing I want to add is all the fun things that you can do without spending money, because this is a personal finance YouTube channel. I should try to give some advice, I guess. So here are some of the things that I did that I didn't have to spend any money. That was also really fun. Having a board game night with my friends, that was fun. Seeing the cherry blossoms at U District, that was also fun. Played a lot of basketball this week, trying to get my cardio up. NBA playoffs is back, which is super exciting, even though the Raptors got kicked out and Nick Nurse got fired. Did a picnic in Seattle, which was really nice. I mean, I guess the food isn't technically free, but if you just bring food that you had at home, I guess it's a free activity. I also hiked Mount Si, which is pretty tough. Walking is free, but you have to get there. There is a shuttle that takes you, but this time my friend had a car, so we drove. To cap it off, just walking around Seattle, also a free and fun activity. But I know y'all don't really care about that fun, free stuff, and you want to talk about money. So this month I spent $5,830. Which is a lot. I mean, technically, I bought a ton of flights, which are going to be used sometime in the future. So if you remove the cost of the flights, I technically only spent $2,640 this month, which is still over what I plan to spend, but like, c'est la vie. And I know in the past I've actually said that I'm trying to invest less and spend more, and I think this is the first month where I've really done it and not really tried to hold back at all, and I've actually enjoyed it a lot. But at the same time, seeing that money leave my bank account, I'm just like, damn, that's a lot of money. But looking back at April, I had a really good time. My girlfriend came to visit. I ate a bunch of yummy food. I added clothes to my dripless wardrobe, and I really wouldn't change anything. So all in all, I'm very happy with my investing, my spending, and my saving, even if the spending was a bit on the higher side. With that being said, I know May and June are going to be just as expensive, obviously without the flight, but that means it's also going to be a ton of fun, so I'm super excited. And I'm having a lot of fun making these videos every month and reflecting on how much I spent and all the things that I did. So let me know if there's anything you want me to add or talk about in this series. And if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below. And I just want to say thank you if you watched the video this far. I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing to join the mob. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so you could be a part of that mission. And if you like this video and you're curious about how much I spent last month, you can watch this video right here where I talk about how much I spent in March.